Or as we now call him, the F-Bombardier, with his latest Substack, which is blowing up. I guess the third anniversary of Ukraine set you off. I love how you said, I don't mean to be this way, but the treachery and incompetence of this second Trump regime is unbearable. That's the word. It doesn't feel sustainable, Malcolm, domestically or internationally. What is happening?
Well, first off, as we heard John Bolton say there, very late in the game, that Donald Trump this week has aligned us with America's enemies. For the first time, the United States voted with Russia, Belarus, North Korea, okay, to not condemn Russia for invading Ukraine and killing. Look what you just made me do. You just made me redo that entire video that I have on Substack. If you guys want to see something, go to Substack and watch my 25-minute, even I scared myself with my rant. Okay? I was hot the other day when I made that video, and let me tell you, I used to think that I was all out of F's to give. Oh, I give a lot of F's to people in this one.
Yeah. You literally had skin in the game, as you talk about in the video. You went there. You stood with Ukraine physically. I mean, and I agree with what you said here you said prediction, a second American revolution is coming. How many times have I been saying that just this week, Jody? You said a massive we are the people powered nonviolent rejection of Trump's tyranny. I mean, you're seeing these town halls, you're seeing these protests, you're seeing, we would like over 20 people at Doge just resigned rather than use their critical skills in the way they're being asked to. Apparently there's rebellion brewing at the FBI over Dan Bongino. Who is it? Colonel McGrath is talking about what she's hearing from inside the Pentagon. Amy McGrath tweeted, what I'm hearing about morale inside the Pentagon, total show, 10 times worse than the last Trump administration, and it was bad then. Another level of mess. Malcolm, and we are literally a month in, right?
And they said that they would do this. They said their first 100 days they would go through the government like a scythe. And we're not even 30 days in. And he's destroying the armed forces. Let me tell you what I'm hearing from people in the armed forces. Blacks, Hispanics, women, people of color, they're getting out. They're going to leave the armed forces. They now think that they work for a white supremacist regime. And many of them don't see a career in there now that they've taken out. They literally pulled out the black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the female chief of naval operations and the female Coast Guard admiral. The top three people in there, and now they're replaced with all white men. So these people who are there, the young men and women who are in the armed forces, the message has been sent. For the next 4 years, they won't be promoted or based on merit. It's not a meritocracy. You have a drunk frat boy leading the Department of Defense who's closing down bases at the request of Russia. So things are going to get bad. And my little rant that I do on Substack, let me tell you, I've like I said on my title, I've reached my limit.
Yeah.
I have absolutely reached my limit.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this out loud and clearly. A second American revolution is coming to restore and defend the first American revolution.
These two posts, I think, sum it up, Malcolm. Nancy says, oh my God, this is to a MAGA. Haven't you figured it out? He doesn't need you anymore. You think only Democrats are getting fired from federal jobs? Most FBI agents are Republican. He's destroying all of America, not just the blue states. And then over to the FAA has agreed to SpaceX's Starlink internet system to manage U.S. airspace. Yet another contract for Elon Musk to profit from while he's slashing funders for other. The conflict of interest is appalling. I mean, this is becoming clear to anybody with a pair of eyes and ears, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we're not even teetering towards dictatorship. We're running towards dictatorship. We're running to authoritarianism. Okay? MAGA voted for this, but they're going to be the roadkill in the road as well. And, I saw a guy who's like, I'm a loyal Trump voter, and my company, which does defense, has contracts, and I'm losing all of my contracts now because of, USAID or the Defense Department or whatever. And It's the, lepers eating people's faces.
Yep.
Faces are getting ate. And people need to understand that, I'm sure you've already talked about it. The average American is going to suffer for billionaires to become trillionaires. And you should all be reaching your limit. You should all be at the point where you're ready to hit the streets and you're ready to use people power to take back the government. And when I say take back the government, I mean in a nonviolent fashion where we get 3.5% of the population, as that Harvard study showed, to hit the streets consistently and force them to make changes back, or we're going to change Congress in 2026 and beyond a blue landslide to the point where we can impeach Trump and Vance and the rest.
Yeah. I mean, I look for the silver linings, Malcolm. John Cooper tweets 3 different federal judges delivered legal setbacks and slapdowns to Trump in the span of an hour and a half yesterday in a series of cases challenging controversial moves taken during the early days of his second term. The rulings are the latest to pump the brakes on Trump's agenda. Out here in Hollywood, I just love that the Donald Trump star on the Walk of Fame, someone just put a mute button across it. I mean, you're feeling it and seeing it everywhere. Right. I mean, and we'll see. I mean, AOC was talking about, Malcolm, that we can stop this. This is just the first vote, but it is absolutely unconscionable. This 880, what is it? $880 billion cut from Medicare. People, do you know how many people are going to die?
$250 million in SNAP, $250 million in elementary school lunches, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. And as you said, just that we started the week siding with, with North Korea and Russia instead of Ukraine. I mean, I will say I also took the Macron slapdown in the Oval Office, correcting Trump's lies about Ukraine to his face. I mean, there is pushback coming from around the world, actually, isn't there? Europe just saying. I mean, the fact that we're being sort of pushed out of. The community of democracies is disturbing enough, isn't it?
No, we're not being pushed out. We're running out. We're jumping out to it. Right. Jesus. I wrote 4 books, since 2016 saying this was going to happen. And what's worse, my least popular book still made the New York Times bestseller list, Plot to Betray America, literally is coming true. All of that stuff about Putin wanting to call in favors and do all these things, all of the individuals who are mentioned in it are all in it. We are now in the single most corrupt administration in the history of the United States. They're making the robber baron era look like pikers.
Yeah.
And there's only one solution, and that is what Vladimir Putin warned Trump about. He's warned him to be careful that there is not a color revolution, a rising up of people power who will take to the streets, who will shut the country down, who will bring this country or the people who supported Trump economically to their knees.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to get anything done. And when they start losing money, like Target lost $15 billion when black people stopped shopping there, that's the only way we're going to get any changes done, because they're a cult. They are voting for Trump lockstep. They don't care about being primaried except by Trump. They don't care about challenges from liberals and progressives at all, even though they're in blue districts. They don't care about you. And we are going to have to make them hear us.
Malcolm, everything to me goes back to your first book, The Plot to Hack America, and you talking then about what a traitor Donald Trump is to this country. And, I was quoting Peter Baker, who said, this is what happened in Russia. Them now saying we're going to pick the media outlets that get to be in the press room. And they're all pretty much far right or right wing, and this one, David tweets, Trump suggests he might create a nice new law in an attempt to silence criticism in the media. He said he would terminate the Constitution. He literally, or whatever his post is, this president is being given credit for having the best opening month of any president history. Here come the fake books. But I mean, we are really in dear leader territory, right?
Look, and we still got people who are out there, these journalists, 50-50ing this thing. These people are liars. I swear to God, I don't want to see any of you on Twitter or Blue Sky or Facebook or ever just saying, oh, he lies or he does this. Start your sentences off with Donald Trump is a pathological liar and the most documented liar in American history. If you don't frame this game that way, then all of these lies become the truth.
Yeah. I just, in our last minute, I want to say I fell in love with you on Joy Reid on MSNBC. I got to say, I don't know if you saw Rachel and Lawrence and Nicole stand up for her, but that's what we got to do, and that's where I found you and fell in love with you. And you know what I mean? I will lift you up till the end of time until if you'll keep doing it. Glenn Kirshner, I found on MSNBC, but he said no to corporate media. Do you have thoughts on what happened? Because I just think it's despicable. And I hope they listen to Rachel and reverse this decision, because Joy Reid is
I'm going to tell you
irreplaceable.
right now, they're not going to reverse the decision.
Yeah.
A few years ago, when I was pulled off air a few weeks before the Mueller report, because Bill Barr told them to pull me off air, me and John Brennan, former director of the CIA. I was told by a very, very immensely popular Canadian host, whose first name may rhyme with something Williams. And he said corporate media is about the bottom line. And right now, they have in their head that black people, women, people of color do not matter. And the only way that we're going to make
they're reading the wrong.
Perhaps
you are correct about the revolution, and they are reading the room wrong, Malcolm. They need to read
They're reading
your
it wrong.
Substack.
They could be getting a locked up 81 million viewers every hour of the day like Fox News. They are going for the white vote that doesn't watch them.
Yeah. No, the people that bent the knee, Morning Joe, no one's watching them.
No one's watching that show.
Yeah. Anyway, Malcolm.
I feel sorry for him, because I liked everybody at MSNBC.
Yeah.
With a couple of exceptions in the upper echelon.
Yeah.
But they're going the wrong way, and I don't think it's going to happen. And I think an alternative news channel needs to come up with a lot of the dissidents.
Yeah.
The Republicans created One American News Network and Newsmax.
Yeah.
How come we can't?
Yeah, and
Where's
there's
Mark
a lot
Cuban?
of Jim Acosta, Don Lemon. There's a lot of great, talent out there.
Don Lemon, that man has been born again.
Yeah,
he's on jihad.
He wrote me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Is this the Don Lemon?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Yes." Anyway, Malcolm.
He's all out of them too.
Yeah. No. Exactly.